Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to my subscribers. As always, thank you for your support here on YouTube, Facebook, the Etsy store, and in the Ko-fi site. So today I want to do my take on house ephemera. So let's get started. Let me get the scoreboard and give you some measurements. So I started out with a card. I've already done some pre-cutting and distressing to keep the video moving along. So I started out with a card that was 10.5 by 3, and then I folded it in half, and on one side I took out a cut that was 3/4 inches, and hold on to this little piece because we are going to come back to it. Okay, the next thing that you will need is you'll need another piece of cardstock, and it could be a plain cardstock. We're going to be covering it. So this piece is 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and what I did was I took my pencil and I made a mark at the 3-inch mark, and I made a mark at the 1/2 inch mark. And what I'm going to do is, you see I drew a line from my mark to the corner of this paper here. That's what I'm going to cut on one side, and that's what I'm going to do on the other side. So let me make my cuts and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we have here what looks like a trapezoid. Okay, and this is an important piece because this is going to help give us the shape of our roof. So what we're going to do is we are going to do some gluing. So not the short end, but the long end. What you're going to do is glue this down. And you want to get in the center. You want to try to be as straight as you can, or you'll have a crooked roof, but it's junk journaling, so I think a little crookedness is okay. Okay, so that is about centered, and that's about as straight up. That's about as straight as I am going to get this. Okay, so let me get a little bit of glue down on one side, and then I'll tackle the rest. You don't have to put your glue all the way to the outside because the corners are going to be sticking out. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So the next thing that we're going to need is I used my 1-inch hole punch, and I cut out, yes, I cut out 24 circles. And we are going to be creating a roof that has shingles. Okay, so as you can see, I've already distressed them. And I'm not going to do all of this gluing on camera. You don't need to see me do all of that. But I want you to see how I'm starting things off. So we have our edges here, the edges of our roof. And what we need to do is, as we're gluing things down, we want to make sure that our circle hits this corner. And the same thing with the circle on the other end. So I'm going to end up using, about 4 circles for the first row. And when I glue these down, I don't want to glue down the entire circle. I only want to glue about halfway down. And you'll see why later on. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom, and all of the others, at least in the second row, you can glue all of these down all the way, right? So your second row will look something like this, and you're making sure that your circles are extending past the white space. And then for your last row, you'll still use 4 circles, and you'll make sure that it's extending past that white trapezoid on the sides and on the top. Okay, so I'm going to get this glued down, and remember what I said about the first row. You don't want to glue the entire circle, you just want to go halfway down. And let me do the first row in front of you so you could see it. Okay, so I still have plenty of space underneath here, okay? And I want these really wet because I don't want them to dry very quickly, because I know that I'm going to need to do some adjusting. So I'm just doing halfway down, and I'm really making these wet, okay? Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm as straight as I can. That's why I didn't want to, I don't want the glue to dry too quickly, so I put it on a little bit thick so I have some movement there. And that's the first row, and with this first row, you should have space here, okay? So I'm going to do the next few rows, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I have these glued down, right? And I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to use my little trapezoid here as a guide as I cut the sides of my house. I mean, as I cut the sides of the roof, I'm using the little trapezoid as a guide. Okay, so now we have the top of our house with our shingles. And what we need to do now is we need to distress. So we'll do some distressing, and I've been using the walnut. So we'll get that down. Okay. And my rooftop is a little bit crooked, but that's okay. It's junk journaling. So now our little piece here, okay, we're going to flip this over now. And then this is our little chimney, okay? So that's the piece that we cut out. That was 3/4 of an inch. So what we need to do is get this glued down. And you can have your chimney as high as you want. I'm not going to make mine that high. And I want my chimney this way, on this side. Okay. Okay. And then what I did on the first side, I repeat that on this side, but Do you see where your circles are here? You want to make sure that your circle lands right over it so that nothing is sticking out, nothing is high, nothing is low. Okay, so you want to make sure that both ends are covering. All right, so on this side you can glue the full circle down, okay, except for when you get to the chimney. All right, when you get to the chimney, you want to glue the circle halfway down. Okay, so let me get up to the point of the chimney and then I'll come back. All right. Okay, so I'm gluing and I'm not putting glue to the top of the circle, just part of the way. And when I get to this area, I'm going to put the glue even lower. Okay. Oops. Okay. So you would let that dry, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to keep moving. And if you look here, nothing is glued to the chimney, okay? So we'll do what we did the last time. We've got this as our guide, that trapezoid shape as our guide. And then when I get to the chimney, okay, I'm going to just pull it back a little bit. Pull it back a little bit and not cut it. And I'm going to try to be as straight as I can with my scissor. This part's a little tricky. Okay, so I'm gonna fool around with this so I can get it straight as possible, and then I'll come right back. Or maybe I have it right now. Let's see. Oh. Okay, I think that's good enough for our purposes. Okay, and then I'm going to use this here. Okay, so now we have our chimney. We're not going to glue things down just yet because we need to distress that area. Okay, so we'll do some distressing around. Okay, so now that we've got that done, now we can finish gluing down in this area here. Okay, and I just want to get a little bit more ink over here because it cut a little bit low and I just want to darken it so it's not showing too much. Okay. Okay, so that is the back of our card. Now the front part of our card. Okay, so the reason why you left this part a little bit open is because that is our closure, okay, for this. All right, so I bought this die from Amazon, And this is how I created these little windows from this die here. And on the back, I glued some lace to make it look like a curtain. And then the color, I just went heavy on the walnut stain. And I did 2 of these windows here. And then I created a door. I printed this. This is from the latest digitals, and the information will be in the description of the video. I printed this at 55%, and then I used the brat for a doorknob. So this is going to get glued down here. And I just want to get things laid out before I commit to glue, to gluing things. And then I also have another die that I bought from Amazon so that I could create this little picket fence. But I want to cut it down a little bit. So I want this section here. And I want the same thing on the other side. So let me cut this out. I want these to go here on the outside. And what I'm going to do is, I don't want these to be too white, so I'm just going to very lightly add some distress ink. So let me get all of these things glued down, and then we'll come back and move on to the rest of the project. Okay, so we have the exterior of our house done, and then we need to do the interior of our house. So for our interior, I have a little notepad that I've already created. Let me just give you some measurements. And this is, I've got stuff underneath here. This is
2 7/8 by 4 3/8.
And then we're going to also add a pocket. So let me give you the measurements for that as well while we're here. So for our pocket, that is going to be 2 1/4 by 4 and a little less than 4 1/2. Okay, so for our notepad, we are going to place our notepad slightly under here to just kind of give it a little scalloped top. So let's get some glue on the back. And we'll try to get that in the center as best as we can. Left and right, this way. And I think that is going to be about as good as that's going to get. It's just a demonstration, so I am not going to fuss too much. So in case you want to know how many pages I used 4 pages. Okay, and let's get our pocket in. We'll put our pocket over here. So I'm just going to glue down 3 sides. Okay. Just want to get a little bit of the distressed ink on the sides there. Okay, and for this section, I have a few cards here, some journaling cards, and some new bingo cards, so we can get some of those in here. I don't want to overstuff it. It's still drying, so we don't want things to start picking up. And then we have some other cards, and you can journal on the back of each of these. So this is still drying. Okay, so I'm gonna not put any more in there. Let it get dry. And I have a few labels, so we can put some labels on here. Okay. And we can always put a label on our notepad if you like. And you have plenty of space on the back to decorate. You can even put a pocket back there. But let's just close up our piece. Okay, and that is our little project for today. A house matchbook style notepad. Okay, everyone, if you like this video, please share, please hit the like button, and please subscribe. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.